live for the first time on YouTube. I actually never even had the opportunity or the option to go live until recently, so I'm excited to be on here. And I want to talk about uncertainty today and feelings that have come up for me about uncertainty. Even coming on here, I'm like, who would watch? Who is it gonna land for? Is anyone even gonna see it? This is the first time I go live on YouTube, and my YouTube channel is pretty new. Like, all these thoughts just started ruminating in my brain as I was working out. And I originally was like, I'll just go live on Instagram because that's what I'm used to going live on. And I know what I'll get there, right? And that's comfortable, that's certain. I was like, I'll just stick to what I know. I'll just stick to Instagram Live. And then I decided, wait, no, I want to talk about uncertainty because there's so much uncertainty right now in the world. I think in a lot of our lives, we constantly struggle with this and the emotion that comes behind that uncertainty. And I want to talk how it specifically relates to your emotions and your relationships. And I don't want to just narrow it down to relationships with like other people. I'm talking about relationships with money, with your health, relationships with God, your relationship with God. The power to be able to hold uncertainty will make such a big difference in your life, and it has in mine. And any time that I have said, I'm willing to get uncomfortable, I'm willing to get uncertain, I'm willing to go on YouTube Live, even though I've never been on YouTube Live before, even if nobody watches, every time I do that, I take a step into the uncomfortableness, into the uncertainty, and God always blesses me and blesses you if you really pay attention. Like, anytime that you've done that, think of what you felt, what has happened in your life in return. Maybe not right away, maybe not the next day, maybe not that second, but you've opened up receiving power. You've opened up that gate of, God, I'm ready for more, I'm ready for expansion. And usually what meets us after that is a lot of more uncomfortableness, right? A lot more of what we don't enjoy and what we don't like. But we stay restricted so many of our lives, or so much of our lives, because we don't want to hold that emotion of fear. That's what it is. When you feel uncomfortable doing something, you feel fear, you feel uncertainty, you feel like, what if, and what if that, and what if this, and that uncertainty will block you from receiving, will block you from expansion, in so many ways, in your relationships, like I said, with money, with everything in your life. And so let's talk for a second about, because I know, and I've analyzed people in my life so much. I grew up, I had two older sisters, a mom that kind of stayed stuck in the same loops and just stayed stuck in victimhood. And when you look at the people in your lives, I want you to ask yourself, and we all know one or two or a lot of people that are in this space that I'm about to talk about right now, and that is, they stay stuck. We all know somebody in our lives that has stayed stuck, that has stayed in the same job for 20 years, but hates it and talks about their boss and their coworkers and absolutely hates it. And the person that's been in that marriage that, the partner is the worst partner ever, and the partner's this and the partner's that, and the kids are annoying. And we all know somebody that has stayed stuck in life, or has stayed in a place that probably no longer serves them and probably shouldn't be there, but they've stayed there because they're not willing to be uncertain in life. They're not willing to be uncomfortable. They're not willing to step out of the box that they've put themselves in because they fear the uncertainty of not knowing. That's all we are as humans, is like, we're just a collection of emotions sometimes that keep us stuck. And I want you to recognize that if there's anything in your life right now or in the past where you're like, I know I should do this, or I know I should do that, but that feels really uncomfortable and I'm not sure how that's going to work out. That's the thing that you need to be stepping into. Anytime I've done this, whether, I've been divorced before. I got divorced. I got married at 23, divorced at 30. That was really uncomfortable. That was really uncertain. I was like, what's going to happen? Will I find anyone? Was it me? Is it my problem? Like, am I ruining this? Should I stay? Like, there was so much uncertainty during that time. And because I took a step and I did something that felt was right for me, God opened up so much for me because I took that uncertain step, and it did not feel good. It did not feel good for years, to be honest with you, because there was still parts of me that I needed to mold in order to actually be, now I'm remarried, and to be in a relationship where I'm actually happy and healthy. And so there was a lot of uncomfortableness and a lot of uncertainty that I had to go through that. There's been times in my career and in your career and in all of our careers where, like, I know I can make more. Should I go ask for a raise? Should I ask my boss for a new title? Should I change career? Should I start a new career? Should I do this? And say no, or we decide that we don't want to take that next step level because of what if, right? What if? What if I fail? What if I don't make any money? What if I really suck? What if I'm terrible? And so I want us to shift that perspective, right? The moment we feel uncertainty, let's shift it into what if it works? What if I get the love of my life? What if I get the dream job? What if I make all the money that I can make? What if having that uncomfortable conversation with someone's gonna make my relationship with that person even deeper and more connective? What if towards the positive? Let's shift that perspective of what's going to happen, and what if, I fail, and what if this is terrible, to what if this becomes the best thing that's ever happened to me, and live with that uncertainty and being okay with that uncertainty. That's where we struggle, because as humans we want control. As women, we want control. We have an array of emotions in any given day, and there's so many emotions that we feel, and we want control over all and every scenario. And so if we can control how we feel, if we can control how many actions we take, if we can control where we step in or out of our level of comfortableness, then we'll feel safe. But it's not true. You won't feel safe. That's just like a fake facade. That's just like the booby price. That's not the real deal. Like, you're not going to actually feel safe. What is wrong with people? People are commenting weird things. And remove. All right. You can feel uncomfortable. I kind of lost my train of thought, but anyways, you get to choose how much uncomfortable uncertainty you're willing to put in. And this has been the biggest game changer for me. And I think because I lost my relationship with God and had a really toxic relationship with God for so long, and now that I'm getting closer to Him again, He wants us to live in uncertainty, because the moment that we're in uncertainty, we have to step into faith. There's no one or the other. You have to step into faith in order to live in uncertainty. If not, fear will consume you, and the devil is the one that wants you to live in fear, because if he can have you live in fear, he can control you. If he can have you doubting yourself, he can control you. If he can have you not having the tough conversations with your loved ones, he can control you. If he can keep you small, keep you scared, keep you afraid, he can control you. And that is what he wants. And so I just wanted to leave this short message about uncertainty. And if you're feeling uncertainty in any area of your life, whether it's with money, with your career, with love, with relationships, with the world, and whatever is happening, ask yourself, how can I step into more faith that I can do what I want to do here, and that God has my back, and that if I feel uncertain, or if I feel I shouldn't do something, that's probably what you should be doing. That is the sign of, like, this is what I should be doing. And so that's all I'll leave you guys with. And I hope that this helps somebody that's feeling really uncertain. That was my whole goal with this. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day.